From Storm Team 4, this is a weather update.
And good afternoon. I'm Storm Team 4's Dave Price.
And I'm Storm Team 4's Rafael Miranda. Welcome to our Storm Team 4 coverage of the winter storm that will be impacting much of the nation, including, of course, here in the tri-state as we head towards the Christmas weekend.
Well, whether it's going to be by plane, train, or automobile, travel is now beginning to ramp up across our area and throughout the country. This is a live look right now at Newark Liberty Airport and the I-95 Turnpike. AAA expecting a post-pandemic record when it comes to travel now. Nearly 113 million people will either fly or drive at least 50 miles this holiday.
That's right, Dave. Now let's take you to Queens and Kennedy Airport. Adding on top of that travel record, the storm that's moving in. We've all been talking about it. The airlines are preparing. United and American Airlines waiving rebooking fees already to allow travelers to navigate around the worst of the storm's impact. News 4's Paisley Cheng is at LaGuardia Airport right now. Hey, Paisley. Now, travelers there, are they heeding the warnings?
Hi, Raphael and David. Yes. So many of the travelers we spoke with say they were planning to leave today anyways. That's because a lot of them came to visit New York to see what a New York Christmas looked like. And now they want to be home with their family members. But let me tell you, they are super glad that they did choose to leave today because of all the wild weather warnings to come in the next couple of days. And as for the airport right now, it looks calm, but it ebbs and flows. At some points today, earlier today, we saw a lot of people here waiting on lines, waiting to check their bags. The Port Authority estimates that there will be 4 million travelers through all 3 of their airports, including LaGuardia, Kennedy, and Newark. Now, like you said, airlines are offering people the opportunity to change their flights, get on an earlier flight, and waiving change fees. And we did speak with one family. They're from Alabama, and they were going to stay a little bit longer, but they decided to leave today to avoid any weather headaches and to be able to get home for the holidays.
We noticed that the whole time on our vacation it wasn't going to be snowing, but we were like, we need to get out of here before it actually hits us because we didn't want to be late coming home for the holidays and everything. We wanted to be with our families, so we made sure to book for today, and we watched the weather and everything.
Great. Yeah, it's a really heads-up move, and I think a lot of people are doing the same because it's so crowded.
Yes, we met a lot of people on our trip that were leaving today as well, so I think everybody was really just trying to watch the weather and see how it went.
Also, plenty of people who are from warmer destinations like Palm Springs, Florida, eager to get out of here before those frigid temperatures do hit. Now, we're going to be here for most of the day, and we're going to be able to monitor the situation here, and we will bring you the very latest. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks, Paisley. And again, we also want to keep in touch with you. If you're watching us, whether it's at home or on the road, let us know, A, what your questions are about the storm and holiday travel, and be our eyes and ears out throughout the country. And you can get to us by going on to tips at nbcuni.com, and we'll continue this dialogue on our social media platforms as we head through the rest of the week. And we're going to answer as many questions as we can right here. All right, let's return to the chroma, flip the cameras, and tell you a little bit about what's going on all across the country right now. The Northeast, all is calm. Live pictures, even your look out the window if you are at home right now, gives you that indication. We have sunny skies, cool temperatures. We're at just about 38 degrees right now. I don't think we're going to make it to 40 degrees in New York City, but we'll be right up close to it. We have an area of low pressure, but not a significant one, sitting to our south. That's going to bring us some showers as we head through the day along the Gulf states. You're going to, if you fly through Atlanta today, run into some rain, but I don't think it's going to be anything which should inhibit on-time performance at one of the busiest country or airlines in the country. As far as the Carolinas goes, Charlotte looking okay at this point, and all of our major hubs right now looking good, from Chicago to Detroit to Minneapolis, Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and even up where we're seeing rain in Portland and Seattle, things do look fine operationally, but things are going to be changing. This, what we're seeing right here, is the very beginnings of that area of low pressure. That is going to wind up becoming our storm system. It's going to travel across the country, rolling through the upper Midwest, into the Midwest, and across the Ohio Valley, central Pennsylvania, and eventually into our backyard. It's this area right here that I think is going to see the worst of the storm, stretching from Minneapolis, St. Paul to Chicago, where we could be measuring snow in feet, not inches, and across into Detroit. Those are major hubs for American Airlines, United Airlines, Delta Airlines, with the potential to carry millions of people over the next several days. The dilemma here is that if you're traveling through this region and you don't move your flights up to a day like today, when the weather is good, the closer you get to Christmas, the less inventory there's going to be, the fewer opportunities there will be for you to get to where you need to go on time. And that's why our big concern is for anyone traveling through those hubs. Now, keep in mind, as we take a look at our radar picture right now, we're all clear. We are not expecting snow. Not a lot of it, certainly in our area, with temperatures on Friday in the mid-50s. But keep in mind, that doesn't mean we are out of the woods when it comes to travel troubles. We're right in the thick of things because we are expecting heavy rains, 2 to 3 inches of rain, and winds gusting upwards of 50 miles per hour. That creates troubles on the roadways. It creates troubles at the airports, and that's just where our weather story begins. It actually gets more complicated as we head into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But for the time being, we are just shy of 30 degrees in the city, at the freezing mark in Albany. As we head into central New York, just about 26 degrees. And as we head into Pittsburgh, the freezing mark as well. Couple of things to note. Right now, we have just shy of 80 degrees in Miami. We're at 54 degrees in Dallas. And watch as the cold air begins to filter to the south. Look at these numbers in Sioux Falls and Billings. We're in the negative digits. This is before you even factor in wind chills. And all of this cold air is going to begin to filter to the south. That is going to be the beginning of what really complicates our weather picture here. So if you're getting out and getting on the road right now, we saw Paisley at the airport. There's no dramatic footage. There are no massive rushes. There aren't lines of cancellations on the board. You're in good shape. White Plains, no delays. Teterboro, which is mostly private traffic, no delays. LaGuardia, nothing. As we take a look at JFK, we're in good shape. Newark operating strong, as is Islip right now on the airline, on the island. And let's not forget Stewart Airport, Stewart Newburgh Airport, up as we head to the north. Now, average airport delays, we're not seeing anything right now. Another indication that if you can get out tonight, if you can change your schedule, if there are available seats, you should do that. And that's not to scream or scare anyone, but it's going to make travel a lot easier for you, and it's going to eliminate the possibility that you could get stuck on a flight cancellation and not be able to find the inventory or the weather window to get to where you need to on time as we head into Christmas. Even where the low pressure system is coming on shore right now, we're in pretty good shape. No delays in Seattle. As we take a look at San Francisco, even Portland, even though it's not on the map, we're good to go. So we'll talk about what we're expecting to change as the week progresses. So we move on from today. We talked enough about that. We'll go into Wednesday. Wednesday is when the trouble is going to begin around Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the Twin Cities. Single-digit temperatures. And snow is going to begin to overspread the area. 5 to 12 inches possible in and through here. Airport delays. Minneapolis, St. Paul, for those of you who don't travel a lot but may be going through there, very well versed in, again, getting rid of snow. But keep in mind, it naturally causes operational delays. And with temperatures as bitter cold as they will be, we are going to see those delays pop up and then ripple across the rest of the United States for any air traffic going through there. as we head into Thursday, this is where our real trouble's going to begin. Chicago, O'Hare, and Midway, major airports in the heart of the country, an American Airlines and United Airlines hub. As we take a look there, we could be talking about blizzard conditions. So almost no visibility, high winds, high snow accumulation, blowing snow, and we could see prolific cancellations at these airports. That rolls into Detroit, which could see more in the line of messy weather Thursday into Friday. And Friday for us, we are talking about heavy rains and high winds. So the delays only get compounded as this storm system moves to the east. So travel trouble, a major issue. Now, into Saturday, things do look better. We still have some wraparound moisture, which is going to affect air traffic and travel on the roadways as we head into sections of Michigan and western Michigan. But we should be clearing up here in New York and up and down the eastern seaboard. That sounds great, right? But it's not, because of the issue of freezing, precipitation, and accretion. I am really worried in our area, in addition to the travel trouble, about the issue of power. Because as we head into Friday with winds gusting to 40 and 50 miles per hour and so much rain, once we go into that flash freeze, that deep freeze, we're going to see on power lines and in areas on trees, this water begin to freeze. That adds extra weight. Winds begin to blow. And you think to yourself, well, if a power line operates, they must be heated because of the power that goes through there. It is not to the level that will melt ice into water. So they do freeze, and just a little bit of ice can add 50, 60, 100 pounds to a long power wire. So that's what we're going to watch in our area. Highway impacts as we head through Thursday and Friday. Thursday is the rain and the limited visibility and the winds, and Friday it's going to be, as we head into Friday night and Saturday morning, freezing roads, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Ralph will talk more about it, but we're headed into a very precarious run as far as people needing to get from one place to the other.
That's right, Dave. Thanks for the big picture look. That we're going to take it very local now and see exactly what we can expect day by day, starting with our storm again. Just to remind you, this is our low pressure system, as Dave was telling us, still in the northwest. It moves across the country over the next day or so. Now, the fuel for this storm will be that collision between that Arctic air and this warm, humid air. That's what's going to intensify this area of low pressure, and that's when it really ramps up into Thursday, becoming the monster, the beast of a storm that will become, bringing blizzard conditions to some, severe weather, heavy rain, flooding, strong winds, all of it for much of the eastern third of the country. This is our storm and the impacts here. Notice where we are on the warm side. Is this going to be a snowmaker? No. Is it a nor'easter? No. So snow lovers not going to be thrilled about the outcome of this storm. It's just going to be rain for the most part, lots of wind and potential damage from that wind and maybe some flooding, but the snow stays off to the west, not this time around. Of course, without the snow, we still get the cold. So unfortunately, we don't get any of the fun of the storm in terms of the snow. We get the cold rushing in after the rain stops, and it's bitter cold right through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and even beyond. So let's break down the impacts for here, for the tri-state. Yeah, primarily rain. I know snow lovers are not thrilled about this, but that's what we're stuck with today. Some snow possible as the storm exits Friday into Saturday. We'll watch that potential. Not a lot. If you get a dusting, you'll be lucky if you want snow. Otherwise, we're going to keep it snow-free. But the winds all around the region, but especially along the coastline, Friday is the day the winds could become damaging, gusting over 50 miles per hour. And the temperature drop will be something. We're talking about a drop of 30 to 40 degrees in a matter of just a few hours. So you're stepping outside on Friday. We'll have temperatures flirting with 60 at one point. Once that cold front comes through, we'll go from 60s to 20s in a few hours. You don't want to be caught outside at the wrong time with the wrong wardrobe. So I'm going to time that out for you. You'll know exactly when we can expect that huge, rapid temperature drop. And of course, icy roads, as Dave mentioned, that flash freeze potential, that's there as the cold moves in. So let's talk about the winds first. Now, this is starting out on Thursday during the day. Big getaway day, starting out okay. I don't anticipate huge delays because of the winds at this point. There'll be some rain and some light winds, gusting between 15 and say 25 miles per hour. By the evening, though, we start to see the winds begin to intensify, gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. Maybe some travel delays there, a little tougher on the roads as well, getting around. Look what happens Thursday night to Friday morning. That's when the winds really start to pick up along the coast. We see winds gusting between 30 and 40 miles per hour. This is just the beginning. This is a long duration wind event. By Friday morning, you may catch a bit of a lull. You're thinking, oh, this storm may be winding down. I don't know what's happening. The winds aren't as intense. That's not the case. You can see what happens as we head into Friday afternoon. They pick up again. Notice those winds along the coast between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Big time delays here. Big issues getting around. Possible power outages. Those holiday decorations, they're all over the place. Possible damage from these winds. And this is Friday afternoon. That's the peak of the winds for this storm. 3 p.m. winds gusting between 50 and 60 miles per hour. That's all the way from New York City out towards Montauk, including Westchester County, Fairfield County. Is this a nor'easter? No. Why not? Well, the nor'easter refers to the wind direction here, and you can see these little arrows show the wind. It's a southerly wind. Why? Because low pressure is way back towards the west. This is not a classic nor'easter where you have the winds coming out of the northeast. This is a southerly wind, very strong, very warm until that cold front comes through, and then the temperatures will come crashing down. Friday, 6 p.m., we're still seeing these winds howling, especially across Long Island. What about the weekend? Very breezy. And then we're not just dealing with windy and warm conditions. The cold is already pushing in. So these wind gusts make it feel absolutely brutal. And I'm going to show you that in the wind chill forecast. You definitely want to pay attention for that. 3 p.m. Saturday, the winds finally start to ease up a little bit. So again, long duration wind event starting late Thursday through Saturday. All right, hour by hour, let's take a look at the temperatures. Chilly today. We stay that way through tomorrow morning. Unusually cold, in fact. 7 a.m., 25 degrees. That's when you think, maybe it will snow. It will not. We're going to warm up pretty quickly here. 4:30, temperatures in the mid-30s. And then Thursday, that's the day we start to see a big jump. Thursday morning, it's still chilly. The rain arrives just in time for the warm-up. 47 degrees. We haven't seen that temperature in quite a few days. This is Thursday, 2 p.m. Rain. Maybe a brief burst of snow. That changes over to rain in the Hudson Valley. Everyone's warming up hour by hour. 50s down the shore. Some pockets of heavy rain overnight Thursday into Friday. Could see some localized flooding. And look at this warmth that's all of a sudden all around the tri-state. 50s to near 60. This is Friday during the day. And these are when the winds are ramping up as well. And then we see that chance for some snow on the back end of this thing as it's pulling away late Friday. And there's that temperature crash. We go from 50s to near 60s. All of a sudden, it's freezing, teens and 20s north and west. And by Friday, 11 p.m., single-digit temperatures. These are not wind chills. These are your actual temperatures. And that's why we're talking about a flash freeze. All of that heavy rain, as Dave was mentioning, could be on the power lines at that point. And look at these temperatures. A sharp, sharp drop into the teens and single digits. And that's what carries us into the weekend, 7 a.m. on Saturday, waking up to a frigid 16 degrees and probably no snow on the ground. Through the afternoon, we don't really warm up. We stay well below freezing there. We are in the deep freeze all weekend long. We don't even get close to freezing. In fact, Sunday morning starting out at 16 degrees and Sunday afternoon, upper 20s. That's the best we can do. Those are the actual temperatures, but let's talk about how it's going to feel, because you saw those winds will continue to blow throughout the weekend. So Friday morning, enjoy that one last warm morning before the bottom falls out here. By the afternoon, you can see that line here in the colors. There's the Arctic air. Scranton feels like 16, 53 in White Plains. Of course, that cold air marches east. So by 7 p.m., we have wind chills below zero north and west. That is a huge change from the morning. 50s and 40s, below zero wind chills. All the layers are piled on by Friday for that evening commute. If you're trying to travel, there may be delays. During that delay period, you may go from temperatures in the 50s to 20s if you're stuck somewhere. You can see by Saturday morning, even colder. Feels like below zero almost everywhere overnight. And Saturday, 7 a.m., Christmas Eve morning, feels like 1 degree in White Plains and it feels like 9 below in Monticello. This stays that way all weekend long. Heat is on full blast for sure. And of course, if anyone loses power, that's a huge concern that you'll lose heat with this type of extreme cold. All right, if you're traveling by car, we're going to be dealing with a potential with that drop in temperatures for roads and bridges to become icy. We always talk about bridges become icy first, right? A little reminder why. Well, the bridge is not on top of the warm ground. The ground insulates most roadways, so it takes a little longer to freeze there. A bridge has air surrounding it, so once that cold air rushes in, it's surrounded by those sub-freezing temperatures, allowing the surface to turn icy first. So we always say, watch out those bridges and overpasses. They are the first to freeze. That's what we're expecting here with temperatures dropping through the mid-30s. And that's going to happen again Friday afternoon and especially Friday night into Saturday morning. Once we hit that freezing mark, any of those puddles, any wet surfaces could become icy. Black ice will be a concern. So tricky travel, even if it's not raining or snowing or anything, you could still have icy spots. So it's going to be cold. Obviously, we're ready for the cold that's coming for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Will it be one of the coldest Christmases we've ever had? No, thankfully not so. These are the top 5 coldest Christmases in Central Park. Not so long ago, in 1983, we had a day where we only hit 13 degrees. That was absolutely bone chilling. Back in 1872, 15 degrees. We're not going to make this list. We should be in the mid to upper 20s. So thankfully, yes, it will be very cold, but it will not be one of the record coldest Christmases on record. Speaking of a white Christmas, this is historically, this is not today or this week or for this Christmas. Usually we have about an 11% chance of getting a white Christmas in the city. That's not good. And of course, that's been reflected in the past few years. And of course, because of climate change, we have warmer winters now. It's tougher to get those white Christmases. And take a look at this breakdown of time periods here. 1912 to 1966, we had 12 white Christmases in Central Park. Of course, the definition of a white Christmas is 1 inch of snow or more on the ground Christmas morning. After 1967, all the way up until last year, we've only had it 4 times. That can be correlated to climate change, of course, and a warmer winter. It makes it harder to get snow in general. And that's what we've seen. Winter is the fastest warming season here in New York City. So snow lovers, it's just a tough go to get some snow. And I think we have a question right now. We're going to check in with a question. A question from William in Rockland County. William says, I currently work in the highway maintenance in the nearby northern suburbs and have a planned day off for Friday on my normal shift. Dave, you know where this is going. Yep. Should I reconsider and postpone that day or just keep that plan? Dave, what do you think?
Well, here's the issue. I think for any of our friends who we appreciate, certainly, who work as first responders or who work for utilities, I think we're going to have some big issues as we head into Friday night and Saturday. I think the power outage issue is underplayed and underconsidered at this point. As we head into Saturday, we could be looking, listen, we know areas in Fairfield County and on Long Island where once we lose power, we lose it for a significant period of time. I think we have to be weather aware going into this. It is time, by the way, to check your generators to make sure you have what you need to stay inside for an extended period of time, and an extra blanket and a way of staying warm and hydrated during weather like this, because I don't think it's an exaggeration to consider that with wind gusts, which could be up to 60 miles per hour out to the island, into the 40s in the city as we head into Friday and Saturday, maintaining these windy conditions as we're looking at accretion, I think it is a likelihood that we're going to have power outages. So if you are someone who works for one of these utility companies, you might want to reconsider if you have the opportunity to rejigger your time off, because you may wind up being called in one of these locations. Certainly there is the potential for that. By the way, want to note, look down below here. If you have a question, a thought, an observation, or you're seeing something at the airports, or you've seen something from your own experience, drop us a line. It's tips@nbcnewyork.com. We'll either answer it during today's program, or keep in mind, we're going to be running this program this week as a special across all our social media networks right through Friday at 2 p.m. One more question. What can we expect on local roads on Christmas Eve? Well, here's what you can expect. We're going to have a very, very rainy day on Friday. Low-lying roads. And you know where they are, the Bronx River Parkway, sections of the Hutch, as you head into sections of northern New Jersey. Look at our hour-by-hour forecast. Stop it there. This is Friday at 5:30. We see moderate to heavy rain beginning to overspread the area. Stop it now there for about 10 o'clock. There we go. We're still talking about very warm conditions. Are we going to see icing on the roads? No, you won't. If you have to go out, now remember, the winds are going to be howling at this time as we head on through Friday. Watch the rain continue, heavy at times. if you have to get out on Friday, get out on the early side. We could see a period of time, particularly out to the west and up to the north, where we see some icy mix or where we do see some snow. But I think the roadways, the biggest concern on the early side, Thursday and Friday, are going to be winds knocking down tree branches and debris on the roads, and localized flooding because of some heavy rains. That's in areas which are prone to that. Into Saturday, your story on the roadways, even though the radar picture is going to be clear, the concern is going to be for ice. It doesn't take more than 1/10 of an inch of ice for your car to become an ice skate, and you really need to take that into consideration as you drive. You know, we talked about in our tips, leave early. We're not talking about leave early in the morning. We're talking about leave early for the time you need to be where you're going so you can travel slowly. You want to travel at slow speeds. You want to understand your car's braking dynamics, and it takes much longer to stop a vehicle on icy conditions than it does normally, and wet conditions as well. So consider all of that as you make your plans. And Saturday, tough day to be on the roads. Even though this picture on our radar and satellite is going to be clear, we're still going to be talking about significant travel complications. Ralph?
Yeah, Dave, looking at those temperatures behind you, yikes. I mean, and we're imagining, you know, there are people that have to be outside when it's going to be 2 degrees with those wind chills as cold as teens below zero. There will be folks without power. It's a huge concern. So keep in mind the storm could become dangerous as it goes on. We thank you for your questions. We have another question now from Kirsten. Now, Kirsten wants to know, how heavy will the winds be in Tinton Falls on Friday? And Kirsten, what we're dealing with in terms of the winds, they're going to be widespread. We're dealing with very strong winds everywhere during the day on Friday, but along the coast, and that's for you in Tinton Falls, also Nassau and Suffolk counties, that's where we're currently expecting the worst winds to be blowing during the day on Friday. Friday, it starts out plain old windy, gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour. Remember, there's a bit of a lull in the action there, but the storm is not over. The worst is still yet to come, and that happens just around and after lunchtime. While the Hudson Valley interior section, see those winds staying where they are. Notice the ramp up here of winds gusting right along the coast there. Jersey Shore, Tinton Falls, yes, Monmouth County, Ocean County, close to 50 miles per hour already. This is during much of the afternoon for Friday. This goes on hour after hour, and it looks like our strongest winds will be in places like Fairfield County, Nassau, and Suffolk County, especially those south-facing shores during the afternoon. Friday evening could still be ramping up. And again, the winds don't just go away. They don't just rapidly diminish by any means. They very slowly wind down as we head into Saturday. So once the winds are here, they're going to stay fierce for quite some time Friday during the day. Now, this is 10 p.m. and yes, we start to see a bit of those winds coming down a little bit, but by then the damage is done. We're expecting power outages. We are expecting possible debris in the roadways, making things difficult to get around as well. And of course, any loose objects, they need to be taken in now. As Dave has been reminding us, we have time to prepare. All those lovely holiday decorations that we're seeing around the tri-state now, if you want them and you don't want them to become problems, you have to take them inside. Dave, we're getting all these great questions. I think you have another one here.
We have time for a quick answer on this one. Anna asked if it's going to snow in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania this week. We got a lot of, is it going to snow in my backyard kind of questions. Stroudsburg is, south and, near Philadelphia. So keep in mind, within about an hour of Philadelphia, keep in mind, I think you're talking about a rain event, Anna, for at least the near term. And then the deep freeze is going to roll on in, and that's going to affect us all. So I don't think you're looking at snow at all. That's a quick answer to your question. You can see what we're expecting here as we take a look at our snow forecast over the next 7 days. We're just not in that zone at this point. Ralph, I think we may have time for one more quick question if you want to take that one.
I have another Anna. You had Anna, I have Anna. Anna from the Bronx. Anna wants to know, will the Bronx see sleet or just rain? I know it's confusing. We get these winter storms. Sometimes you get a little bit of everything. We get that wintry mix. It changes. The forecast changes. Now, for this storm, we've been pretty consistent since the weekend now, seeing that we're going to be on the warm side of this one. Snow, wintry mix, sleet, freezing rain, not going to be a major component of this storm, as Dave just mentioned, and that includes the Bronx for the 5 boroughs. I'm going to say 99% rain with this one for Anna and all of our friends in the Bronx and the city. There's a 1% chance we get a burst of something else as this thing is pulling away and the cold air works in. It's not going to be a big impact, though. We're not dealing with impacts from ice, sleet. It's the rain, it's the wind, and maybe coastal flooding, and of course then the cold.
Yep.
Dave, got another question?
Well, Raven's asking pretty much the same thing for
Yeah.
her location. She wants to know if there's going to be snow in Putnam County over the weekend. Over the weekend, no. I think over the weekend, as in Saturday and Sunday, we are going to be dry. The issue, Raven, is going to be the cold temperatures and the windy conditions. That's really what's going to be affecting us, as the ice is impacting our travel over the weekend as well. Again, the snow forecast over the next 7 days, most of this is well outside our area. If you're traveling to ski locations up north of the Capital District or out to the west into central Pennsylvania, western New York, or over by Buffalo, that's where you're going to run into the heavier snows. In our area, though, just a significant complication because of high winds and rain and sloppy weather and that ripple effect that we are going to feel everywhere because of that potential for blizzard conditions in the Midwest. For us, it's going to be a big rain event. Lots of rain, lots of wind. Let's wrap it up and tell you exactly what we're expecting. As we roll into Friday, the winds begin to kick up. The rain begins to roll through. We could see a burst of a mix of precipitation. Watch as the temperatures then plummet as we head into Friday night, bringing us into Saturday morning with winds still sustained 30, 40 miles per hour. And we roll through Saturday with temperatures in the teens and single digits. That's what we ride through the weekend, and that's our concern. For us, it's rain, it's ice, it's winds, it's power, it's travel, it's road conditions, and airline delays. So we want to help you do what you need to get where you need to go safely. We're going to break in whenever is necessary to give you updates. You can also go on to NBCNewYork.com or the News 4 app. Whenever you have a question, we'll have the answer. We'll have the very latest on the forecast on News 4 at 4. In the meantime, for Rafael Miranda, I'm Dave Price, and the entire team says thank you for watching. Have a safe afternoon and a good day. We'll see you at 4.